There is a huge transition between summer beauty products and fall beauty products, and I am officially fully transitioned into my fall beauty routine. And today I'm going to be going through some of my top favorites within the beauty category. A portion of today's video is also in collaboration with Haru Wonder. There's two products from them that I have been loving that I'm going to share with you guys today that really fit in perfectly in my fall beauty routine. Let's just jump right into it. So when the weather gets a little bit colder, as I'm sure so many of you guys probably also experience, every single thing on my body gets a little bit drier. My face, my body skin, and of course my hair as well. So there isn't much that I change up in the fall time when it comes to my hair, but one thing that I do like to focus in on is just adding as much hydration as possible. And I like to do that with my leave-in products. So the products that I put into my hair after I shampoo and condition it. As most of you probably know, although you cannot really tell right now, I do have naturally curly hair. And if you do have naturally curly hair, you also have naturally drier hair. So a leave-in conditioner is a must, especially when it does get drier outside. My hair really starts to feel the effects of it. And I've tried so many leave-ins and there's some that I really like, but I have been blown away by this one. This is the Olaplex number 5 Moisture Amend Leave-In Conditioner, and this makes my hair feel like butter. I just washed my hair yesterday, and the only product that I put in my hair after washing it was this. I don't even have an oil in my hair at the moment, and I find that my hair looks and feels so moisturized, so shiny, and so healthy after using this. And I really noticed such a huge difference when I use this versus when I don't use this. I also noticed that the frizz in my hair is way more controlled. It also protects your hair against heat as well, which is really nice. So it really is a true all-in-one. It moisturizes, it softens, it protects your hair, and it doesn't weigh the hair down. So this is, for me at least, like the perfect leave-in product that is actually super effective and gets the job done. So this is a must for me during the season. I'm really happy that I discovered it. Another must-have product for me during this time of year is a hair oil, especially if you deal with like any type of frizziness to your hair or you want to add a lot of extra shine. A hair oil is kind of a must. This hair oil from Vegamore is one of my favorites. It's the Hydrate Weightless Repair Oil. A lot of oils can be a little bit on the heavier side and they could really weigh the hair down or make your hair look borderline a little bit oily. This is a beautiful oil because it will hydrate your hair, make your hair look extra shiny, and give you all the benefits of an oil, but it really is so weightless and it does not weigh the hair down whatsoever. Like I said, I don't have any hair oil in my hair right now, so I'll show you what this looks like. Texture of the oil doesn't really feel like a typical hair oil. It almost feels a little bit more on the watery side. And like I said, because this is not a heavy oil at all, I could put this on my roots and it's not going to make them look wet. It also smells so good. So now let's get into some skincare. So this is the Haru Wonder Black Rice Moisture Deep Cleansing Oil, as well as the Black Rice Moisture 5.5 Soft Cleansing Gel. Now it's really important when it comes to my cleansing routine that I'm using products that do not strip my skin and that are really gentle on my drier skin, because if I'm using something that's too abrasive or that's too intense, it will take so many more products to like rebalance my skin to make it happy again. So it is really important that I'm using something that's gentle, but that's also effective. So this cleansing routine has really been one of my favorites for that exact reason. And this is really the perfect double cleansing routine. You start off first with the Black Rice Moisture Deep Cleansing Oil. And this cleansing oil has only 9 ingredients and it's with 100% natural oils. There's rice bran, olive oil, jojoba seed, and macadamia seed. If you have sensitive skin, this is also awesome. It is not irritating at all. And what I find so unique about this product is actually the texture of it, because most cleansing oils that I've tried are super oily. And this obviously has like an oily feel because it's a cleansing oil, but it has a much more lightweight oily feel. It almost feels a little bit like water. And because of that texture, it does not leave any type of residue on the skin at all. If you're somebody who hates it when you use a cleansing oil that it leaves a bit of like an oily residue, this will not do that. And this just works wonders at completely breaking down your makeup. Make sure that when you're using your cleansing oil that you're actually applying it on dry skin, because if you apply it on wet skin, it's just not going to be quite as effective. So you put a couple pumps of this on dry skin, you massage the product all over the face to emulsify it, and then once you rinse it off, it's going to remove the majority of your makeup. And then we have the cleanser, which is really the perfect complement to this product, because you always want to go in with the gel-based cleanser after you use a cleansing oil. And this is a super gentle cleanser. It's actually a soap-free formula. Instead, it has a coconut-based surfactant. And then of course, it also has the black rice, which is super moisturizing and nourishing. So these two have been keeping my skin very clean, balanced and happy as we're moving into the colder weather. This would not be a fall beauty favorites if I didn't talk about the most moisturizing combination for your body. I have spoken about this particular combination many, many, many times, so it's a little bit redundant that I'm talking about it again, but this is just to show you that this is still consistently, even with all the products that I try, my absolute favorite combination to get the juiciest, most moisturized, most beautiful, yummy feeling skin. So if you want that, you're gonna combine the L'Occitane Smoothing and Beautifying Milk Concentrate Body Cream with the Quintessent Vanilla Caviar Bath and Body Oil. This body cream from L'Occitane is like, I would say probably my #1 favorite body cream ever. I've been using this stuff for probably 15 years at this point because I used to steal this from my mom when I was a teenager, and it still continues to be one of my favorites to this day. The texture is thick, but it's still very, very spreadable. So it's really rich, but it's not something that you need to spend like 17 hours rubbing into your skin in order for it to actually absorb. Like this absorbs pretty much immediately, but it's still really rich in texture, so it just gives you that really plush feeling to the skin. It doesn't leave a sticky or oily residue, and on top of all of that, it smells incredible. It is probably one of my favorite smelling body creams because it's fresh while still being a little bit sweet. So on its own, this is incredible, okay? But it gets even better when you combine it with this oil. So like I said, this is the Quintessent Vanilla Caviar Oil. I love talking about this brand because they are a small business and I absolutely love supporting them. They're women owned and they make the most beautiful products. This body oil is one of the most gorgeous body oils I've ever tried. This is a vanilla bean. So when you smell this, oh my God, it just smells like the most delicious, pure vanilla. There's jojoba oil in here, there's vitamin E, so it's very moisturizing. And so what I do is I'll take a little dollop of the L'Occitane cream and then put a couple drops of this inside the dollop, and then it creates, I mean, heaven. You gotta just trust me on this. It is the best combination ever. The only other body care product that is an absolute must for me during this time of year is a body scrub. This is the time of year where my KP flares up the most, and the type of product that I like to use the most when it comes to a scrub is when it's both a physical and a chemical exfoliator because it really feels the most effective for my KP. And there's a couple out there that I really like. The First Aid Beauty Bump Eraser for one is amazing. I've been using that one for years, but since the launch of that product, there's been many other both physical and chemical exfoliators that have been launched that I find are also very effective. And the You to the People 10% AHA Smoothing Body Scrub is my current favorite. This is just as effective as the KP Bump Eraser. It really makes your skin feel so nice and smooth, and it has both that AHA and the physical component. And the physical scrub is very, very, very fine, which I love because I find that it really just gets in there and gets the job done very nicely. What is kind of like the cherry on top of the sundae and why I reach for this over something like the First Aid Bump Eraser is the scent. The scent notes are actually black pepper, ginger, and velvet wood. So it's a little bit woodsy. It's also fresh and has that like spicy note. So the combination of the scent as well as, you know, it just being a really effective product has made this one of my absolute favorites. All right, now let's get into the makeup. One of the biggest things that I do when I go from my summer makeup routine into my fall winter makeup routine is I switch up the tones of my makeup. I obviously get a lot paler during this time of year. I no longer have a nice golden tan. So a lot of the products that I use definitely reflect that. I also am just more drawn towards specific tones during this time of year. I really like shades that are more in like the rosy brown family, berries, and like richer, deeper reds. Now when it comes to base products, there's really not too much that changes from summer to winter for me personally. I find that I tend to use very similar products in both seasons because it's just kind of what I prefer. And one of my ultimate favorite everyday foundations when I want something that is more hydrating and that's super lightweight and that just works really well no matter where my skin is at, if it's super dry or if it's normal, is the Chanel Les Beige foundation. And as you can see, I mean, I love this thing. I am pretty much completely done my bottle. This is just a skin tint that I find I can always go back to, that I always find looks very, very flattering on my skin. I love the fact that I don't need to use a brush with this and I could just blend it out with my fingers. You can see in the little demo video that I did, I apply this with just my fingers and it just always looks great. In the fall and winter, I'm basically just looking for a foundation that plays very nicely with my dry skin and that will always look flattering no matter what. And this is this is that for me. For concealer, it's kind of the same deal. I'm just looking for a concealer that is hydrating and that's not going to accentuate my dryness. And right now, these are the two that I'm loving the most. I recently spoke about the MAC Studio Radiance 24-Hour Luminous Lift Concealer. This is like my current #1 favorite concealer at the moment. It's a very hydrating, very flattering concealer. What makes this really special is that it's a very, very, very thin texture. It's so thin that it makes it almost undetectable underneath the eyes, paired with almost like a medium to full coverage. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. You get the hydration and you get the coverage without it looking or feeling heavy, and it just plays so nicely with dry skin. So many of you guys were wondering what my shade was when I featured this in my last video, and I'm N18 is like my perfect shade. And when I want something a little bit brighter, I've been using NC15. Tower 28 Serum Concealer is a close second. This has been my go-to concealer up until I discovered the MAC one. It's a little bit of like a creamier formula. It's definitely not as thin as the MAC concealer. I still find this to be incredibly hydrating, very flattering, very easy to wear, and it's just a great hydrating, flattering, beautiful concealer. What else can I say about it? A hydrating mist is a must. I literally cannot apply my makeup if I do not first spray my face with either the RMS Hydrating Mist or the Summer Fridays Jet Lag Skin Soothing Hydration Mist. Both of these products work so beautifully in prepping the skin, adding a little extra boost of moisture before applying the makeup. It leaves a beautiful layer of hydration on the skin, which makes all the products that I put on top a little bit more flattering, a little bit dewier, and that is what I need, especially at this time of year when my skin gets much drier. I can honestly do an entire video just about my favorite blushes for this time of year, but I really want to narrow down to two because I feel like these two really encompass everything that I like in a fall blush. First, we have the Westman Atelier Baby Cheeks Blush Stick in the shade Bichette. This is really like the quintessential fall blush for me. Because I don't have a lot of color in my face at this time of year, like I tend to get pretty pale, I like to add as much depth and warmth to my cheeks just to like warm up my complexion. And this color really does that for me. It's really just the perfect mix between like a red, a berry, and a brown. It just adds the perfect amount of brightness and warmth to my skin that's still very flattering for my paler skin. Another stunning color that honestly is very worth the hype is the Rhode Pocket Blush in Toasted Teddy. I feel like I'm a little bit late to the party with this. A couple months ago, this was like the talk of the town. And I honestly didn't think that it would be as good as everybody was saying, but this color is so stunning. If this is like a pure cinnamon colored blush, I have nothing else like this in my collection. When I first saw people using this color, I wasn't super pressed to pick it up myself because I figured I probably have something similar in my collection. And now that I have this, I can tell you right away that I have nothing like this in my collection. This is like the perfect cinnamon brown blush. It doesn't lean too orange, it doesn't lean too red, and I just find on my skin tone this gives like the perfect amount of warmth to the cheeks. It's what I'm wearing on my cheeks today, and I just absolutely love it. When it comes to bronzer, I switch from using bronzers that are more on the warmer side to bronzers that are a bit on the cooler side, because all the bronzers that I use in the summertime tend to look really orange on me when I get a little bit paler in the fall and winter time. So I need to switch out my bronzers to be a little bit cooler or at least lean more neutral. And I have two here that I have been really enjoying. This is a brand new one that I just got very recently from e.l.f. that I've been very impressed by. It's what I put on my face today, and it is the Camo Liquid Bronzer and Contour in the shade Light Medium. This is the most perfect neutral, leaning a little bit more on the cooler side, cream bronzer, but it's not so cool toned where it's just like a pure gray shade. There's still a little bit of warmth to it where it still gives my skin, you know, that life that I'm looking for. It blends and lasts beautifully, and I'm just really impressed by this. And of course it's e.l.f., so it's super affordable. The one thing I will say about this is that it is actually really intense. A little bit goes a very long way. You kind of want to be a little bit careful with it. Kind of like the Rare Beauty blushes. If you put a little bit too much, it'll take you 10 hours to blend it out, and you're gonna just end up with too much color on your face. You kind of want to be a little bit careful with this as well. Then we have the Say Sun Melt in the shade Fair Bronze, and this is another perfect, more neutral, leaning a bit on the cooler side bronzer that does not lean orange on my skin whatsoever. The formula of this, very different from the e.l.f. This is definitely a little bit on the sheer side. It's really hard to like over apply this, and it just really does a trick. It warms up my skin without looking completely unnatural. Let's quickly talk about mascara because I feel like this is so relevant, especially when it starts to get colder outside. I don't know about you guys, but when it gets cold, my eyes water like crazy. Wearing a tubey mascara is kind of key because you're not gonna get any of that smudging. If you're not familiar with what a tubey mascara is, it's basically a mascara that only comes off with water. And when it comes time to remove it, you remove it with water and it comes off in clumps. It will never smudge like a regular mascara. So a tubey mascara is key this time of year. And there's a new one that I have been obsessed with and using pretty much every single day. It's the new Cosmetics Shape Shift Tubey Mascara. I love a tubey mascara so much, but the formulas are not always my absolute like #1 favorite because I feel like they'll sometimes just weigh down the lashes. They can be a little bit heavier. This one is very unlike most other tubey mascaras that I've tried. I find that it doesn't weigh down my lashes, it doesn't clump, and it keeps my lashes looking really nice and feathery. We have entered into the lip portion of today's video. I literally could have done an entire video just on lip products. My ideal lip color right now is really just like a medium tone brown, whether that's a little bit warmer or a little bit cooler. I just love a brown lip. And then I also have a couple more like reddy shades that I really, really love. So the lip color that I've been wearing throughout this entire video is the NYX Fat Oil Slick Click in the shade In a Mood. If you kind of want to dabble in a red lip, but you don't want to go too red or too bright, this is a really, really nice place to land. It has a bit of a red undertone, but because it also has a lot of brown in it, it's very, very, very easy to wear. And I just feel like this is fall in a stick. This is another NYX lip oil. This is the Fat Oil in the shade Inside Scoop. This color I feel is like a gorgeous everyday nude, very easy to wear. It's not as intensely pigmented as the last one that I showed you, but it still gives that little hint of rosy brown. Okay, then we have the Summer Fridays Rosewood Nights Dream Lip Oil. This is kind of like a purpley brown. Depending on what lip liner you pair with these, by the way, you can make them more intense or less intense. When I don't put a lip liner on, it's very, very, very sheer and just kind of cools down the lip color a bit. If you just want like a great everyday shade that is just a little bit more cool tone, this is a beautiful formula, but I want to show you how this transforms when you put on a lip liner. I love to pair it with more of a brown lip liner. I've been obsessed with these Maybelline lifter liners. These are very new in my life and I have not been able to stop wearing them. They are as good as any other higher end lip liner I've ever tried. They're creamy, they are incredibly long wearing. They literally do not move once you put them on the lips. I'm just very impressed. So this is another huge favorite. This is the color Let's Bounce, which is a brown. And this is really my favorite way to wear this lip product because I find on its own, it kind of like, it does something, but it doesn't do much. But with the lip liner, it's stunning. Also, absolutely love wearing brighter reds, especially when it's paired with a brown liner. I find it kind of makes things a little bit more fall-y. This is a new color in the Jisoo Honey Infused Lip Oil. It's in the shade Cherry, and this is such a stunning, like very, very, very bright red lip oil. And because it's a lip oil, it's very sheer, very wearable. I love transforming it with a dark brown lip liner, so I put the same lip liner back on. And this smells also incredible. It smells like cherries. This color makes your lips look incredibly juicy. And it's gorgeous on its own, but paired with that brown lip liner, it just kind of deepens it up a little bit and makes it a little bit more fall appropriate, at least in my opinion. The last combo that I want to share with you guys is a little bit more on the berry side. I'm gonna line with the Maybelline lip liner in Line Leader. And this is the Fenty Gloss Bomb Stick in the shade Riri. And this is a beautiful, cooler toned purpley pink. I never wear these types of shades in the spring and summer. I really only pull them out at this time of year. It's like a fun little change up from a typical pink. And that finishes off all of my fall beauty favorites. I really hope that you enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments. As per usual, hit the thumbs up button if you liked this video and subscribe if you want to see more from me. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.